Yesterday, I got the chance to watch Amaran, so let's talk about it. So I'll be honest with you, my expectations were there, but they were not too high. They were somewhere in the middle. And in a way, this movie kind of exceeded those expectations. I didn't see any promotional materials like trailers or anything. I knew nothing of the real life events before watching the movie, and this turned out to be a really pleasant surprise. This is the latest Tamil film starring Sivakarthikeyan and Pallavi, and here's a quick plot synopsis. This is the real-life story of Major Mukund, an officer of the Indian Army. It tells his story spanning about a decade from his college years where he met the love of his life and all the way to the fight against terrorism in Kashmir. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about the good first. Clearly the best part of this film is Sai Pallavi as Indu. Most of the emotional scenes revolve around her character's love for Major Mukund as they struggle to get the acknowledgement of it from their own parents, and also how they are in a long distance relationship where Major Mukund is on the other side of India fighting terrorism and she's on the other side somewhere else trying to raise their daughter. And this is where the core emotional beat of the film is at. And the actress does a phenomenal job in delivering the lines, the acting and the emotional scenes required of her. She deserves a round of applause. Heck, she deserves an Oscar for it. She crushed it in this role, and I think I can make an entire video complimenting her. Seriously, that's how good she was. Then we need to talk about the moments of respite. This is great. I'm happy it's not all out action and they took moments of respite in between to give us, the audience, a break and let the characters talk a bit so that we can get to know them more. This could be when they were talking to their families, showing the stakes or their devotion and how they struggle between family and army, their backgrounds like where they were born, which part of India they are from, what's their language, or simply talking about their favorite movies. This being a military movie, of course, there's going to be military ideas in it. Two of which popped out immediately in my mind are honor and sacrifice. When we look at all the sacrifice they have made to get to a certain point or achieve a goal, and the guilt that eats Major Mukund away as he blames himself when something happens to one of these people, you can't help thinking he's a very sympathetic person and a very kind-hearted person as well. And something else is that he goes the extra mile to help people, especially his soldiers or even civilians. No, he doesn't look at who they are or where they are from or anything. He helps everyone equally, no matter what their background is. Even when there's a lot of risk to it, he'll still take the risk if it means saving the lives of people, saving the life of his soldier or just the civilians. It shows what kind of honorary and loyal leader he is. Speaking of honor, there's also a lot of patriotism towards the Indian military in this movie as they show the struggle they go through to win the hearts of these people. And they don't cover their faces as they want people to know the face of the Indian army. I can see this not working for you if you are not Indian, but it works for those who are the main target audience for this movie. The emotions will really wreck you in this movie. You know what's going to happen since it's a real life story and you probably read it somewhere what actually happened, but it will still wreck you emotionally. And it's very effective. Gotta give them credit for it, man.
Emotional damage!
Of course, it's not just the main characters who are based off of real people. It's also the side characters. And other than Mukund and Indu, other side characters were given time to shine as well. This just puts a smile on my face. Oh yeah, one more thing. The comedy in this movie is unexpectedly good. Especially with Mukund's mother, the comedy there was hitting. Like every single comedic line she said was really hitting the audience. Then we need to talk about the drawbacks. Not everything is perfect, so this movie does have some drawbacks. I didn't know how else to bring this up, so bear with me here. The main character. I know, you probably think I'm insane and now want to click the dislike button, but stay with me here. They wrote the main character Mukund as a humane, honorary, and patriotic and great leader.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And you may be thinking, yo, this guy is insane. Those are all great character archetypes. Those are the kind of characters we care about. And I agree with you. He's written well enough, but it could have been better. And that's where I'm trying to get at. If Sivakarthikeyan didn't do all the larger than life stunts like jumping off a high staircase and landing completely unscathed and added some real human flaws to the character, it could have made the character more human, it could have made the character more real, and it could have been better. Just saying, alright? Look, I don't know the true life story or the real life person, but I'm pretty sure making a jump like that, there's no way you're coming out of it unscathed. But then again, this normal person being as strong as a superhero is a staple of Indian cinema at this point, so they probably are never going to stop this. Then the editing. Editing. You see, before I continue, I must tell you something. In my country, Singapore, the movie was at first NC-16. What does that mean? It means if you're under the age of 16, you're strictly prohibited from watching the movie. And then right before the movie got released, it suddenly changed to PG-13. And I was so shocked at first. I've never seen this happen before. I believe I found out the reason why, and it links to why the movie was edited so poorly, so abysmally. I have to take a scene for an example. So in this one scene, they were talking about their favorite cinema in a truck. Then it cuts to a funeral.
What the?
Yeah, I know, I was bewildered by it too. Probably they cut that entire scene out just to make the movie PG-13. And it's not just like that one moment, important moments like when they finally get the bad guy. Instead of lingering on that moment to show a feel of triumph, they cut away. And I'm like, what? They did it more than once too, not just once, okay? More than once. Then when it came to the less important moments, they kept at it longer than it needs to be. It overstayed its welcome. And the action scenes were quite messy too. If the editing is abysmal, imagine the pacing. Of course, it's going to have a lot of issues. For my next point, I have to say, the movie felt very incoherent to me. It just felt like a series of events happening in chronological order, all with no links to each other or anything. But they're not trying to tell a story out of it. What is the main point you want the audience to get out of it? That's what I'm more curious about. That's what I want to know more. And so this just feels very incoherent. And there wasn't like a proper character arc for Major Mukund as he went from this college student in this pageant show trying to find people to represent to this military leader who would sacrifice himself for his country. It doesn't show that character arc, and I wish they made that character arc more prevalent and the main point, the main focus of this movie, rather than just saying it like a documentary or something. I wish we saw him grow instead of just gluing some random events together in chronological order. I wish they managed to tell a story out of it. That's what I wanted. Last but not least, I wish the conflicts and the action scenes didn't happen so out of the blue, all of a sudden, and that there was proper build-up to the moments itself. Overall, despite its flaws, it is a fun time in the theatres with lots of emotions and an inspiring story of a revered leader in Indian military. I highly recommend you guys to watch this in theatres. Don't miss it out. It's a great film. And that's the end of my review. If you like this video, click the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. And see you guys next time. God shows the best.